So, for those of you that have been paying attention lately to the channel, I have been playing a little bit more Ubers. Not because I'm trying to become the next best Ubers player ever. That won't happen. But I think it's fun to learn new tiers. And so today, I used a very normal style of team. Hyper offense with sticky web is just one of the better archetypes right now in Ubers. And I thought, you know what? If I'm gonna try to get games in this tier, I may as well use one of the best archetypes available. So I loaded up the tried and true Focus Sash Rayquaza plus a ton of other stupidly good setup supers. I got like a Meteor Beam Lunala, DD Kyurem Black, SDE Killer Arceus, and of course a Swords Dance Koraidon. The little wrinkle in this team that apparently is something gaining traction, and it's why I'm using it, is Choice Scarf Rabombi, with the whole purpose being you can trick Glamora lead, and then it's just very, very depressing for that Pokemon to try to do anything. Now, we did not face a single Glamora today, as you can tell. But I still think we got. I'll move this one to the end. Mr. 315 Venture. You got. Anyhow, if you're gonna join the content as a play, I'm gonna need to see the subscriptions. I want to see 100 likes on this video. We gotta do it. We gotta do it. I believe in y'all. Let me know just how much you're liking it down below by showing your support. Leave a comment. Leave a happy little comment for me to look at tomorrow morning. Something to fill my day with some positivity before I go into work. How about that? So, game one, I was about to say Mr. Sasha. That's crazy. I call everyone Mr. It's a pretty terrible habit. Regardless, Sasha 2808. They got webs too. So I saw this matchup and I'm like, well, they're probably also a Focus Sash, right? They're probably also an E-Killer Arceus, you know, SD, Scale Koraidon, DD, Necrozma, potentially Swords Dance, though, could also work on this type of team. And then, you know, Swords Danceation Crown, because it's just a very good mon. I'm coming into this game thinking about, well, there's a chance they won't be Scarf or Bombi, so what if, you know, again, the honorable lead your own Hazards lead, and then I'll trick as they try to set up webs, and this will just give me some nice momentum turn one. What this lets you do is you can now throw off a Stun Spore on the next turn. I hit the Necrozma as they do get their Lum, but this is the momentum that I wanted. Because now I can double Stun Spore as they DD up. Throw up my webs the next turn, and then I can spam Moonblast. Now, I think they probably could have just DD'd up 27 more times if they really wanted. But, you know, it's kind of whatever. At point, you also just giving me momentum if you DD and I switch to like my Ray or something, or my Lunala even. It's not too good. So I go to my Sash Ray. I know here that I can always Swords Dance up safely. I'm going to live any hit. I actually end up getting a full para here, though. They don't Terrastalize, and I get a free kill. So now I have a +2 Ray with a Focus Sash intact. Pretty cool. I E-speed their Ray just because I figure it's probably best for the trade, because I think they're probably Sash. So I want to make sure that I can get my chip no matter what. Ascent was probably better because I know I always live in attack, and then if they're not Sash, you know, I get more chip as well, but it really doesn't matter. You just see there, Arceus, not Arceus, well yeah, Arceus comes out Revenge Kill, but you see there my Ray able to safely Swords Dance up versus their Necro and enforce chip onto Rayquaza. Now the rest of this game plays out like this. I go Lunala thinking a low kick's coming out. Here, I knew Terra Fairy was the right play, okay, that's a different game. There's one of these games, I should have Terra Fairy'd versus a Koraidon. And I got Scale Shotted. Because I just was like, there's no way they Scale Shot here, right? Right. And yeah, Lunala comes out, free Moonblast here. I know their B is Scarfed at this point, so I don't really care about it. I use this as an opportunity to throw off a Meteor Beam on the B. Pick up my KO very nice and easily. Now they gotta look at this +1 Lunala. So they go out to their E-Killer. They got the Shadow Claw on deck. Actually, Psyshock, what's crazy is in the back of my head, I was thinking to myself, yo, what if I Moongeist Beam here? Just in case they Terra Ghost. Because I don't think I really respected this threat anyway. Which is definitely dumb, right? I want the chip on this now because Koraidon Flare Blitz can Revenge Kill afterwards, right? Or like even I'll go Kyurem at a point, or my own E-Killer, I get Shadow Claw. But it is very funny, the voices in my head. Always got my back anyway. Lunala dies after getting my chip. I go Kyurem here. I can just throw off an Icicle Spear. I could DD up if I really wanted, just because the Arceus has no power. So I throw off a DD. And it goes Zacian, and I was on the receiving end of this line a couple days ago. So I'm like, okay, I could Terra Electric on the Zacian. I'm fine to live Behemoth Blade. If they CC'd, it would have been a little worse. But I'll live Behemoth. And now I have a +1 speed, +2 attack, Kyurem Black. and there is no way they can stop the sweep from here. So I will be winning with my Kyurem Black. I say GG in the chat. Arceus tries to E-speed me, and they get a crit. It doesn't matter at all there. I respect their comment in chat here, though. The sorry. They did not need to say sorry. It didn't matter. It does not affect the game at all. It just means Kyurem Black wasn't the mon to win the game. And yeah, game 2. This guy's team kind of confused me because I didn't really know what to do about a Sylveon and a Mew in Ubers. But once again, I looked at their team and I was like, well, Sticky Web are always helpful because Zacian is a menace. Scarf Kyogre's a menace. And also, when you have a team that's kind of whack, it's always kind of recommended, in my view, to play it safe. So, I lead off with B because I'm just like, alright, we're going to make sure to take the safest line, trick this, because I don't know what it's trying to do. They Age Voice, it does nothing, and now I get my free webs here. Just Sacro Bombi for good momentum. Now, after they kill this, I get free Lunala. And Lunala here can just Meteor Beam. Like, I'm going to be fine with Shadow Shield versus the Sylveon. I'm faster than it if it's Scarf, I figure. Because I'm just assuming they're going to be some bulky set. As then, I guess they thought I'd fear Shadow Sneak. The problem is, I have Shadow Shield, so I don't care about this thing Shadow Sneaking. So I just get to end up Moongeist beaming the Sylveon down twice. Ogre ends up coming out here, and I maybe misplayed a little bit here. I went for Size Shock, which is fine, I believe. The Moongeist beam maybe did a little more because they revealed that they're Scarf, and then they Terra Water. I don't really know if it matters, but this does give me Ray. We know they're locked into that. This is a free Swords Dance, and at this point, there's very minimal they can do. Giratina comes out. I Terra Normal here just because I thought there was a chance they'd Shadow Sneak, and I wanted to preserve the Sash. I figured that was always worth it for me. And this just lets Ray win. They burned their Terra with the Kyogre, and there is now nothing at all that they can do to stop me. The Mew ends up being slower, gets absolutely packed up by Dragon Ascent from my +2 Adamant Ray. Carnival, the Arceus comes out. It too is just a victim of the Rayquaza. I'll be Dragon Ascenting you. It actually ends up living, but fortunately I'm faster. I get the nice little E-speed off, and then Zacian doesn't even get sent out because my opponent knows. The EQ was coming. Also, Zacian is just, with webs up, never getting through all of these menaces. So that's another game where Ray ended up having a pretty useful effect. Now, you may be wondering, why am I showing this game? Why am I showing the weirdest Sun team to ever grace the ladder? Well, one reason is because one of the games I'm not showing is this guy beating me because he got a crit. Which obviously means I didn't play the game well. This team should never be contesting this to the point that a crit dictates the game. Like, I'm sorry. OU Sun. Not even OU Sun. This is like, I don't even know what to call it. This is like, I guess it's OU because there's a Iron Moth, but it's closer to RU Sun than anything, regardless of that. I had to show y'all me getting my get back. Rayquaza naturally is an absolute godsend of a mon this matchup. There's no world where this team beats Ray, I'm sorry. The only world, I guess, is Torkoal Lava Plume burns it. And I decided that was not happening this game. I lead off B once again, because I figure, you know what, there's nothing they can do. And I saw in the first game, this was Meteor Beam, Iron Moth, so I'm like, alright, give this a Scarf. No matter what happens, Ray probably comes out in the next turn. If they Sludge Waved, we would have got Iron Moth. I can't speak. We would have gone Lunala on a Sludge Wave, but since they Flamethrower, this gives me Ray. And you're about to see Rayquaza just absolutely dust off this entire man's team. Dragon Ascent pops the Venusaur. You think you're a dragon? No, you're a fraud. Torkoal comes out. Now, in theory, this mon's a threat, right? I EQ it, it lives. But my opponent goes for Body Press, and I'm like, oh. So they're a little silly. They're a little silly today. So I'm a Swords Dance once again. And this is obviously very risky because they actually Lava Plume to this time. Let's be real. Odds are, if they Lava Plume twice over, they get a burn. And I mean that literally. Odds are they would get a burn. It is a 51% chance because it's 30% burn chance. Unless I'm wrong and it's lower. But I'm pretty sure Lava Plume's 30%. So there you go. Quick maths. And how do I know that's the percent chance that one of those would have been a burn? Because 70% is the chance they don't get it. And for this path to happen where they get no burn twice, 70% times 70% is 49. That's how I always know that I'm allowed to be upset at a Focus Blast miss when it happens twice in a row. I'm justified, damn it. Yeah, we dodged a burn on that one. Pick off Torque with another EQ. I Terra Normal just to make sure that this thing dies to E-Speed. Technically, I just took the in-use covert cloak analysis EV spread. Technically, Bonnet had a shot to live, so I decided I'd make sure there wasn't a shot. I EQ the Diancie here too. Even though this technically could have had a Terra type, to let it live EQ, I figured, you know what? I may as well just attack what's in front of me. And it panned out very well for me, as my opponent ends up running away, tail tucked between their legs. Ray with another victim claimed, and I'm sorry, it does not get any better for these people out here. Gordo. With, oh god, this guy got done dirty, but it wasn't even by Ray. Unless it was, I don't actually remember if Ray's what caused this man anguish. You're about to see the funniest thing ever. So I see their team and I'm like, alright, so it's like kind of a weird mix of old OU and current Uber's HO, because they got the Glamora for some hazards potentially. You know, I'm thinking E-Killer Arceus. They got a Golden Go because why the hell not, man? The ultimate hazard removal denier. They got Chi-Yu, which I was like, ooh, kind of scary. That one's very powerful. I love Chi-Yu, by the way. I remember the one Uber's... I did 2 Uber's UU games, or videos, but I remember when Uber's UU first dropped, and I stole a Sun team. Chi-Yu was an absolute menace. It was incredible. And of course, he's got Koraidon as well to set the Sun for him, and I'm like, alright, everything's normal. So I'm just leading Rabombi, because this was the matchup I wanted. I wanted Glamora versus Rabombi. I can Terra Steel Trick turn 1, and that is like the most optimal way to cause my opponent the maximum hurtage. That is how you can potentially deny everything from them. You lock them in a Mortal Spin, you get your web up the next turn, you spread prayers with stuns where it's disgusting. But they end up leading off with Urshifu Rapid, which I thought was like strange, because you normally see single strike. And I kind of just assumed he'd be Scarf, because if you let off with this, you're probably expecting me to be Focus Sash or Bombi lead, and then you can outspeed Surging Strikes me and kill me. I'm Scarf or Bombi though. And I'm just assuming the latter is probably not prepping for Scarf. So I Moonblasted just one shot. I was like, ah yes, beautiful. So now they go Arceus here, and I'm like, alright, well that's a little scary. Koraidon though, I'm Terra Ghost, so I could pivot this in. If they want to Terra, or not they want to Terra, if they want to E-Speed me though, it won't work. Unfortunately, my opponent's a lot better than me. So as I Terra Ghost, they also Terra Ghost, and then they SD up a second time. Now the nice thing, I am faster. So I can throw off a Flare Blitz, I get a huge hit off on this man. And even though I died with a Shadow Claw here, like let's be, reality is they misplayed by going for another Swords Dance. If they wanted, they probably could have just two-shot me. Like, if they Shadow Claw here, or E-Speed. Like, I think Shadow Claw, I guess no. No matter what, the same sequence plays out. But I think 2 plus... Yeah, 2 plus 2... What am I even talking? It did not matter. It literally did not matter. I think the same thing happens no matter what, regardless of all this. We'll pretend they misplayed just so I feel better about my line. My terrible line I took, where I Terra Ghosted knowing this could very easily Terra Ghost as well in my face. Leave me alone. I go Ray here though now, and here you see Ray serve a bit more of a defensive purpose in this battle. I know that because of my Sash, I'm able to tank this E-Speed, Revengeable Dragon Descent. It's literally all I needed Ray to do. His Koraidon now comes out. I was a little surprised Golden Go didn't come out, because them on definitely walls. But I think they just wanted this, where they get a free Scale Shot boost. Unfortunately for them, I got Lunala here. I think this also was probably one of the games where I was thinking Terra Fairy should be the move I use here. I just didn't because I assumed they'd switch, because they know they can't kill me. So we Side Shock the Golden Go, break the balloon, and actually just stay in. Maybe thinking I'd switch, fearing them being faster, but 1, Lunala's normally gonna be faster. But 2, Balloon Golden Go and Ubers, I'm just assuming is going to be defensive. I don't know, man. I don't really know if Golden Go has any usefulness in this tier to begin with, but I just assumed I had the speed advantage. Chi-Yu comes out. Another turn I could have Terra Fairy'd. This Mon one-shots me through Shadow Shield. Very disgusting. I was thinking Specs at this point. So I go Arceus. The Mon does not have good bulk, fortunately. So I am able to go for a 2-shot with E-Speed. As here, once again, I really tried to give my opponent this win. I could have spammed Recover after seeing the damage here from Power Gem. I probably should have. But then they revealed Sludge Wave, and I honestly just thought they didn't have a better move to hit me with than Power Gem. Now I'm 2-shot. But the benefit of all this is this. E-Speed's still doing plenty to Glamora. So it ends up being okay, because now my Scarf Rabombi actually ends up getting to counter sweep, I guess not counter sweep, but clean up the opponent's team. I give them an early GG because I don't know. I don't really care. Some people get really offended by it. I've come to realize sometimes it's better to just say GG when you know the game has been won. There's nothing my opponent can do at this point. Why would I wait till the end of the battle? I want to make sure, too, there are a couple people that will leave battles without saying GG. You know, right as the game ends, even if they win. And if I want to say GG, I want to make sure they see it. So there you go. Then 315 bencher. Now, this person asked in chat if I was the real Robbie, so I asked if they actually had a 315 bench. I think they thought I was asking if they're the real 315 bencher, like the user though, which I thought was very funny, so as you see here. Anyhow, I had faced this guy once before. He ended up beating me. It was a pretty close game, and what I learned from that game was their Deoxys attack was like Terra Ghost, Focus Sash with Shadow Ball and Taunt. I learned some far more sinister things in the second battle. And their Calyrex Ice is actually banded. So the whole purpose of their team is it's Trick Room Necrozma Duskmane into banded Calyrex Ice, and this mon absolutely packed me up. Like I was a nice, he packed me up like it was my mother packing a nice lunch for me when I was in elementary school. Except the lunch was +1 Glacial Lance repeatedly up into my throat. It hurt quite a lot. So anyhow, I know you can see that Arceus water, but let me talk real quick. I know Rabombi leads pretty safe again. They actually got goobed by Rabombi the last time we faced him, so I kind of just led with it again, going, you know, it doesn't really matter, right? Even if you want to predict this time and switch or something, I'll probably Moonblast in this battle just to make sure your Sash is broken. I'm pretty chill with that. In the event that the counter lead me, I know my Sticky Web is not very useful this game. Again, two of their mons are more reliant on the, what's it called? The Trick Room than anything. So I'm like, okay, well, 4/6 of your team doesn't care at all. You could argue 5/6 because this Deoxys attack is mostly just meant as an anti-lead. Koraidon's the one mon where maybe webs are good for, and I'm gonna be real, I just don't care about this Koraidon one bit. So I lead Rabombi here, and I just Stun Spore instead of setting webs. I figure this is the best way to do something about Arceus Water. Plus, it's a pretty good check into my Koraidon, even into my Ray. Hell, even into my Arceus, kind of, if he's Will-O-Wisp. So I just assume, you know what? Let's give me some chances to just randomly cost him turns. And then I go Kyurem Black here. 2 full pairs in a row is pretty good, naturally. As here I do actually end up going for a sub, as I go hard Koraidon, wanting to block a Fusion Bolt. Knowing I have to switch now to the scale, I will go B. This time, I believe I just Moonblast. And yes, I just Moonblast, because I know Arceus is coming out, and I'm kind of still of the opinion that I don't really care about going for webs. So I just take this as a time to get my Chippy. Even chip off on Duskmane I viewed as fine, as I got Arceus now on Mr. Orichalcomer. I do know I have to switch because low kick's a threat. I dodge scale this time, which is pretty huge. And this was the battle where I was like, okay, there is technically a world where maybe I should Terra Fairy and deny another. But I was like, surely he just switches here, right? On second, thought in this whole battle, it kind of does make sense to just try and catch me going for the greedy save Terra so he can break my Shadow Shield. Because if you look at Lunala into their team, it is pretty strong. Admittedly, the way this next turn plays out kind of made me reconsider if my opponent was putting enough respect on my Lunala, though. Because as I Psyshock them here, they then ask in chat if I just don't have Moonblast, and the reality is, if you were worried about me Moonblasting, because I'm thinking they were probably I don't know if it was a matter of they were questioning why I had Psyshock instead of Moonblast, or if it was a matter of they were questioning why I didn't Terra Fairy on them. But if you're worried about Moonblast, I feel like you'd be worried about Terra Fairy, right? And if I go for that, how do you beat this Mon? Because this dies, well, this dies to Meteor Beam, this dies to Moongeist Beam, or at least might. If I have a Meteor Beam boost, it probably does. If it doesn't, not. This can't do anything to me, because I know he's not Sunsteel Strike, he's Photon Geyser. And if I'm Terra Fairy'd, I don't really fear Deoxys attack, I don't think, either, because he's going to have to hit my Shadow Shield. And obviously this mon's paralyzed, I'd be faster. At best, he ends up using Arceus Water to break my Shadow Shield, right? So I thought it was a very weird scale shot there, just because if he's respecting Moonblast, I think innately you have to respect the threat of Terra Fairy. Anyhow, I got Arceus on the Dio, knowing he's gonna Shadow Ball, and then I double back to B because I'm worried about Superpower. We see the Sinister counter there. I'm like, all right, man, please be gentle. And once again, I'm gonna just, you know, keep their on Moonblast. There's really no reason not to. I'm not worried about anything that can come out. This I know is banded. I go and I just die. Now the annoying thing, as you can see, I have Terra available. I'm Terra Fire Arceus. I live this. It does a million, mind you. I actually, like upwards of 90. But I live this always. And I could have gone for a Terra Fire the next turn and recovered up. And admittedly, it's kind of annoying for his team to deal with at that point. I guess at the end of the day, it's not the biggest deal. And honestly, getting crit encourages me to save Terra and use it for something else, because I'm going to be real, Terra Firing this, I'm not sure actually does me a whole lot of good when he still has Arceus Water. Now, if I get a Swords Dance, sure, then it becomes better. But he's also got the Sash Dio, with Terra Ghost even. So I'm not really too confident that it was right to, you know, Terra Fire afterwards, even if I did live. So we go Lunala, we do end up getting a revenge kill. Then he goes Ho, and actually Psyshock first, because Ho has a lot better natural special defense. I should have calced here, though, to see if Moongeist Beam did more. I, to this day, still don't know which did more. But regardless, I get him low enough, and I do just decide to KO him here, knowing there's a chance he'd try to break my Sash. And I'd rather preserve Sash, frankly. So then he goes Dio. I know he's Terra Ghost. I end up still wanting to preserve my dude, because I'm like, thinking to myself, I think preserving Sash is really good here. So we sack the B. Now I go Koraidon. And here actually Terra Ghost, because I was a little bit worried about an Ice Beam or something coming out. Reality is I did not need to be worried about it as I reanalyzed his set, because I knew his full set at this point. But I guess it works still to minimize Psycho Boost damage, so there you go. We Terra Ghost, and at this point there's very little my opponent can do. I low kick knowing this could Terrastalize, and that I live Photon Geyser as well with my Terra Ghost. As you see here, he does a lot, but not enough to KO me. So I just two-shot the Necrozma with my low kick, as he then goes Arceus Water. He will break through, he actually has Waterfall, which I thought was pretty funny. But big Kyurem comes out. He full paras once more for the culture. And I Fusion Bolt, I got my get back as well versus the Benchman. So, I hope y'all enjoyed. Uber's been pretty fun. I don't know how much I'll play of it going forward, but I always think it's, like I said, I always think it's fun to pick up a new tier. And conveniently, Uber's is a tier where Hyper Offense is good, so at the very least, I feel like I can throw together teams pretty quickly, and that's always nice if you're trying to quickly learn a tier. It's kind of the same with OU, admittedly, though for some reason I'm a lot more opposed to the fact that OU is Hyper Offense Central compared to Uber's. I don't know why I am, but genuinely, I played a little OU earlier today. It was just Hyper Offense, and I'm like, wow, this shit's ass. Who the hell plays this tier and enjoys it? And then I go and look at the SCL week, because it's week 7. There's players that have played already, and I'm seeing a whole bunch of balance, and I'm like, what's the disconnect? And yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.